Alright, we back. Another YouTube video. We're about to sling this thing, man. It's got about a pound of Yara on it from 6 weeks ago. So we're going to turn it up a little bit more. Probably do another pound of AMS. This yard's had 2 half-pound apps of prodiamine. And then we did a half an ounce metsulfuron last round, 1.25 ounces of sulfonylurea certainty, 8 ounces to the acre of an MSO. So we're going to bang it up again. Shout out to the power company for coming in and destroying the yard and putting some pieces of sod down. There's a little bit of Virginia buttonweed in it. We're going to fix that up. Yeah, so got it right here. We'll have to fix that. Probably come in and have that leveled, but it looks dang good, man. It's really good. I mean, for this yard, I'm being 2 apps so far. And then over here, you got the little side yard. Got permagreen loaded down. Actually, got 50 pounds of AMS in here. So, let it rip. Like I said, there's some Virginia buttonweed over here. This yard did not get isoxaben, so it is what it is. But yeah, so we're gonna get this going. There's a little area in the back with the pool, so we'll get that going too. I don't know. This yard is definitely it's a fun little yard. I gotta be really careful back here with the permagreen, so we'll get it done though. But yeah. All right, some reasons that we run AMS on some of these yards. I don't know. I just feel like everybody overcomplicates what they do, so let's get back to the basics. We got high pH. We're gonna acidify the soil a little bit. I don't need a slow release, dude. We get 40 to 50 GDD every day in the summertime. Okay, so a PCU in a soil that is primarily sand with a CEC below 2 makes 0 cents financially for me. It makes 0 cents for the customer. So I don't see a single point into running like a PCU or running anything that just has an extended release. It makes 0 cents. So instead, I'm gonna run AMS, and I'm gonna get it for $15 a bag, and I'm gonna apply it at a pound per 1,000, and I'm gonna be back in 36 days because I do 9 rounds a year, and it's gonna look perfectly fine. I don't understand the point of everybody out here doing 15,000 extra steps for nothing. Makes no sense to me, but I mean, hey, if you want to overcomplicate your job and make less money, go for it. But anyways, yeah, AMS is the move right now, at least on this yard. But let's get on to the next one. Let me go show you the next one. Centipede yard. I'll catch up with you in a few. It's a good day to spray some grass. All right, Centipede. Ignore the patch that is not mowed. He's got a robot mower and it's had a little bit of issues, but nah, yeah, this Centipede, so same thing, 2 half-pound apps of prodiamine, and then additionally it got a 1/4 ounce of metsulfuron instead of a 1/2 ounce. I think I'd have to go back and look. I'm fairly certain I did 2 apps of sulfenters on it, 4 ounces to the acre, and then in addition to that, it had an app of Yara 21-714 and then an app of AMS. No AMS on this yard. This is left over. We are running on this yard Durentis, so we're running chlorantraniliprole. I've seen some armyworm activity somewhere in the state, so I just don't even want to take a chance with it. I know, come at me, Centipede, they don't get armyworms. Move down here to New Hampshire County and you'll see it. So there's that, and then in addition to that, I run an all-inclusive program, so there's no point in me like sitting here waiting for, somebody to call me like, hey, I got the X problem or I got Y problem. Can you come fix it? No, let's just go ahead and get it done with. You don't have to worry about it. So, yeah, I already traced it out, so we just got to fill it in, but good to go. So, yeah, we're just running chlorantraniliprole on this max rate, so good to go. But, yeah, we'll get this sprayed up. You may get another angle, maybe not. I don't know. It looks good, though, for Centipede. Same thing on this, chlorantraniliprole. 24 ounces to the acre of azoxystrobin, 16 ounces to the acre of propiconazole, and then AMS on this. So yeah, St. Augustine, it's banging. It's really good to me. All right, I'm on for an evening walk, so we're just gonna sit here and talk because I have nothing else better to do, and I didn't finish an outro for the video. So just Turn, don't look at the screen. I'm just going to talk. You just listen. This does not apply to C3 turf grasses. This only applies to C4 warm season grasses. I know there's some, parallels between the two, but I'm not a rocket scientist when it comes to cool season turf, so I'm not going to talk about it. Could I talk about it? Yes, I'm not going to. Anyways, so when it comes to caterpillars and turf grass, whether they are fall armyworm, they're tropical sidewebworm, those are mainly the two that we deal with here in my area of Wilmington, North Carolina, but there's carryover all throughout the South with this. If you run a lawn care company, there kind of becomes a slight issue, and that slight issue is, do you offer it? If it gets a little windy, I'm sorry, just get over it. Do you offer treatment as part of your package, or do you use it as a standalone app and build recurring revenue through additional applications? And I would argue that you shouldn't. I would argue that you need to include that in your applications that you already make. My reasoning for that is pretty simple. If you are a LCO, you're a turf manager, you're a business owner, you need to get ahead of every possible problem before it ever even becomes a problem. Okay? And what I mean by that is makes no sense as to why you allow a problem to become a problem instead of taking care of it on a preventative schedule. Okay? And that's very simple. And that goes for everything. Fire ants, mole crickets, large patch. Dollar spot to an extent, not really. I wouldn't even count that. We're not going to include nematodes because we need SDHI fungicides like fluopyrin for that, so no point. But continuing on with that conversation, you need to include all of these in. And if you're not, sure, you may not build as much total revenue, but here's the problem with that argument. You, as the LCO, the turf manager, the business owner, if you get ahead of a problem, whoo, that's a big old gust. We're going to keep on talking though. It's like a hurricane. Wow, I hope y'all can hear me. Anyways, if you get ahead of every single problem before it becomes a problem, guess what happens with that customer? They have 100% faith in you, right? 100% faith from the very beginning. They know and they can rest that I don't have to call X. I don't have to call Y. I don't have to call technician A. I don't have to call Jason. I don't have to call Michael Herring. I don't have to call any of these people because they've already taken care of it. It's done. It's over with. No worries on my end. So that's my argument. They don't have to worry. You do. And as the professional, as the service provider, that is on you. That is not on the customer. It is not on the customer to know what Rhizoctonia looks like. It's not on the customer to know what dollar spot looks like. It's not on the customer to know the difference between a nuisance ant and a fire ant. That's your job. And if you can't figure that out, I'm sorry, get out of the industry because you don't need to be in it. If you run a business, you need to know about all of this. You don't go and become an accountant. Sorry, then we're going to talk about fall armyworm. You don't go and become an accountant just to sit there and tell all of your clients, all of your customers, whatever they're called in the accounting space. You don't tell them, hey, I just got into this and I was doing it for myself at my house and I've done a pretty good job. I've saved us some money. So, I kind of had a passion for it. So I'm going to get into it. No, unless you're a licensed CPA person, you don't need to be in it. So stay out. Same thing in turf grass. If you don't know what you're talking about, don't get into it. It's that simple. But that's my rant. Okay. So include it in your program. Anyways, fall armyworm, lepidopteran insect, same thing as tropical sidewebworm. Anyways, they come from down south. They migrate their way up. They usually start in Florida, Central America, and work their way up through the south. They're pyrethroid resistant at this point. Don't even try to spray bifenthrin. If you do, good luck to you. More power to you. You might get some control, but I highly doubt that there's going to be a lot of efficacy in an application like that. So anyways, go ahead, let them come up. They're going to typically lay their egg sacs on the side of the house, whether that's siding, whether it's the side of a fence, a play set in somebody's backyard, swings, anything like that. Typically a vertical in nature is what they're going to lay it on. I typically find, I don't know about everybody else, but I usually find they're in lighter colored areas. So if it's white siding, keep an eye out for them. But you're going to see those, they're going to fall down, they're going to hatch, they're going to move their way through the turf grass. They're never going to start in the middle. They're always going to start from an outside perimeter and work their way in. So that's like a big thing. But when it comes to chemical control, I would always recommend go for an anthracite diamide. That's like number one. Don't even reach for anything else. Go right to it. Whether that's chlorantraniliprole, that would be my first one. Your second one would be tetraniliprole, which is tetrino. Acetylpronal is off-label, so they can run it as Durentis. I think there's a few other ones, I'm not sure. But anyways, typically run that. If you want to run a pyrethroid, that's up to you. I would argue don't. And this is my argument. It ties back into what I just said. There's no point in running a curative. If you're running a proper business model, you shouldn't have to run a curative. You should just be able to go ahead and do it on a preventative measure. So I would recommend in my area. Anywhere else, timing's gonna be a little bit different, but I just know here that's the way it is. There's a baseball game. But anyways, I gotta keep my slender figure. I'm getting old. I'm 23. I can't get fat, and I'm having a kid. But anyways, as we keep on talking, you go out with your diamide, and I would argue in this area mid-July, and let me explain why. You want to give yourself some leeway in case there's a problem, in case they migrate quicker, in case they migrate slower. It doesn't matter really if it's slower, but if they're quicker, you don't want to be caught behind the 8 ball. Again, that just builds a lack of confidence between you and your client or your customer. So the homeowner needs to know that you've taken care of it in ample time. So I would argue mid-July, go out with your chlorantraniliprole. Acetylpron rates, I don't remember. I haven't used acetylpron in a few years, but I think Durentis right now is 1.5 ounces an acre. So run it at that. I do know a lot of these diamides you're going to see quite a long time when it comes to efficacy and the residual on these products. They're made to last a very long time. Personally, I've seen them last 365 to 720 days, 1 to 2 years. My personal yard at my house, it ain't much, but it's honest work. I apply every other year. Never had an issue. I've had neighbors with fall armyworm issues. Same thing kind of applies to tropical sideweb worm. But tropical sideweb worm, I would argue mid-August. That will give you protection. Tropical sideweb worm is typically found in St. Augustine and zoysia grass. They're a little bit different. They're going to actually bite the side of the blade. It's more of a cosmetic issue than a fall armyworm. But anyways, and arguing to a fall armyworm, here's a argument that you can give to your customer or the homeowner as to why we need to go ahead and treat if you're not running an all-inclusive program. Tell your customer, hey, I'm sorry that you don't want to treat for fall armyworm. I understand. I get it. There's money involved in it. You may be saving. You may be, not ready to do, this application. You may be a little bit tight on the money. I understand that, right? Don't ever pressure your customer into spending money that they don't have. That's just, don't be a loser, number one. But when it comes to it, tell your customer this. It's very simple. Let's say they had a Bermuda yard. We'll use a case study for this. Hey, customer X, let's say Miss Jones. Miss Jones, you got fall armyworm damage. We need to go ahead and treat, because you didn't get at it beforehand. If you had to listen to me, you wouldn't be in this mess, but whatever. So, Miss Jones, we need to treat. Well, Jason, I don't want to do it. Okay, well, I understand, Miss Jones. I understand you don't want to treat, but let me explain as to why maybe we need to go ahead and perform this application right now. If we don't get at this right this very second, there's a chance that this next generation that's coming behind it, or this next generation, however X many that there are, depending on how ever late in the season it is, they're going to come back and they're going to continue to cause damage. And your Bermuda grass, yeah, it's going to recover. 14 to 21 days, it's going to recover. But the next life cycle is going to come through. They're going to take care of it. They're going to hurt it again. It's going to come back. Okay. As we continue to, run this cycle on and on and on and on. Look at those lights too. Those are bam. As we continue to run this on and on and on, guess what's going to happen? And I'm sure it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. It's called fall armyworm. They come in the fall. Our Bermuda grass needs to store as much possible energy as it can get in the form of carbohydrates. And if we're continuing to let this turf grass, get really healthy, pump it full of N, turns around, gets ate by armyworms. Pump it full of N to recover. Fall armyworm. Pump it full of N. Fall armyworm. Continuing on, continuing on, continuing on. As we lose GDD, as we lose daylight, as we get cooler, that plant is in stress. And how do you think that's going to end? Not very well. You're probably going to have some winter kill. It may not come out of dormancy. I've seen that multiple times, right? So we need to get ahead of it right now. And I guarantee you, Ms. Jones will be like, let's go ahead and do it, right? So that's my argument for a treatment. But back to acelepryn. So as an anthracyclic diamide, it targets ryanodine receptors in the insect. And you may not think ryanodine receptors, whatever. Humans lack them. We don't have them. X the reason chlorantraniliprole and tetraniliprole, most diamides don't even have a signal word, but so that's another selling point to your customer on that. But I would argue that if you're not going out with these products, you're behind the 8 ball, right? You are, and you need to get on it, because if you're not using a product that is better, a product that is a newer mode of action or a newer class, if you're not using a product that is safer, you're not doing your job properly. And your job does not start when you step on the customer's yard. The job starts before you ever get there. And if you're not doing that, you're behind, and you need to get on it. You need to get on it quick. So that's my fall armyworm argument. Go ahead and get them out. I mean, it's June 18th and I'm doing it, but I've seen them pretty early the last 2 years. I'm not taking a chance this year. We've been in a drought, so I'm gonna hedge my bet that it's about to get pretty wet pretty quick in July. So we're gonna take it. Plus we're getting some tropical systems that are moving their way up from the Gulf, so it's not a bad idea. But it's been a pretty good little day. Let me also say one other thing too while I'm on this. I kind of wanted to add this for the end. Rest in peace to Ray. I love you, Ray. I miss you. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I owe everything to you, and I'd give anything to talk to you one last time on that phone, but it is what it is. And you know, I typically don't put my feelings out there on YouTube or anything like that, but I feel like Ray lives in the YouTube sphere right now. That's where his entity is at, and I love you to death, Ray. But anyways, so that's my rant. We're gonna have more videos up. I kind of feel bad. There's not a whole lot on YouTube right now, and you know, I'm probably not the greatest guy to be talking, but hey, we'll figure it out. Go Penn State. Turf program's #1. Tied with UT, but don't tell anybody I said that. Go Vols. But anyways, I love you, Matt. He probably ain't even watching. I love you, Ryan. He probably ain't even watching. He's too busy doing Super Bowl fields and FIFA fields and everything. And I love you, Ray. And yeah, what's up, Michael? I got the videos back for you, so we're gonna keep it popping. But this is real. This is unedited. There's no foo-foo. I'm not Vaughn MV or whoever these people, double dark, triple dark, shove it up your ass. YouTube grass guys, this ain't what this is. We're just gonna talk real. We're gonna be honest with each other, and I think that there's something to be said for that. So it's not gonna be the prettiest footage, but I can guarantee you're gonna leave, and if you didn't know something before, you're gonna know something afterwards. If you already knew it and maybe you got a new idea, call me crazy, call me a dumbass. I don't know. Hey, we're gonna figure it out together. But I'm gonna try and make more videos and keep it popping. Like I said, I'm out for my evening walk. Got to keep this slender figure. I only weigh a solid 139 pounds soaking wet, so ate too many honey buns and too much Bluebell ice cream, so we got to keep it down a little bit, you know. But anyways, all right, take care. I could keep talking for hours, but I probably shouldn't. But hey, leave a comment. What do y'all want to see next? I'm probably gonna get a fat 0 comment, but hey, it is what it is. I'll come up with something to talk about. I got the gift of gab. But anyways, all right, I'm gonna keep it pushing. I'll talk to y'all later.